You know, I get a lot of emails from people that ask me, well, how do you clean parts? And you know, if you have an older Mercedes, particularly a diesel, you know, you're going to end up with some really messy, dirty parts if you do a lot of work on your own car. And today here I need to clean a vacuum pump off a 617 turbo diesel, and it's pretty messy. So in this video, I want to show you just some of the ways. There's certainly a lot of different ways to clean parts. I'm looking at it more like a home mechanic that would be wanting to do something in their garage. So I'm going to talk about what I would use in that case, and I'm going to talk a little bit about safety as well. The first thing is consider getting a little wash tank. You don't need one of those great big ones. This little counter wash tank is just fine for most parts, and you'll see as we get into the video why that's true. You don't need a huge tank unless you're rebuilding an engine. But today I've got two things out here. I've got an oil pump off an old gas engine Mercedes, and notice here it's not very dirty. You know, it's oily, but it's not you know, caked with grime and sludge like you see here on this vacuum pump. So the first thing you want to do when you're, you know, considering cleaning these type of parts is to do some basic pre-cleaning before you put it in the tank. If you don't do this, you're going to end up in a very short time having some really dirty cleaner that you're going to have to deal with in the tank. So what I'm going to do with this vacuum pump right here is I'm going to use a combination of a plastic scraper. You don't want to use metal. You're going to scratch the aluminum. Now, it's probably not going to hurt it to scratch the aluminum, but as far as cosmetics, using a plastic scraper and a nylon brush dry to get most of the heavy crud off the parts you're going to clean. Now, if it's oily and greasy, you may have to get a pan with some cleaner in it and do some scraping in the pan, but try to get the part fairly clean before you get it into your wash tank. So I'll sit here and I'm going to do some scraping. You can see I can use the plastic scraper here to get most of this off, and then come in here with the brush and work into these cracks and crevices to get this other junk off. And we'll come back in the next scene and I'll talk a little bit about the tank, the cleaner I use, and the procedure I use to get these parts really clean before I proceed to overhaul them. Most of these small cleaning tanks have a little pump inside with a gooseneck, and you can see here the cleaning fluid is running out in a small stream. It's not going to spray out, but it's going to give you enough cleaning fluid washing the part as you're scrubbing it with a brush. And you're probably thinking, Kent, why are you using milk to clean parts in? Well, let me explain. It's not milk. But I've had it. I have literally had it with these harsh chemicals. And I don't use solvent. I don't use anything that has a strong smell. I hate brake cleaner. I hate carb cleaner. I cannot believe any of that stuff is healthy to breathe. And you know, you really got to think about safety here. I've had some friends who've passed away. In fact, my old machinist friend who used to do a lot of my engine work recently passed away. He wasn't even 50 years old, and just too many years of working around harsh chemicals in a machine shop. So, number one, always wear gloves. If the smell knocks you over, don't use it. So you're saying, well, what are you going to use then? No, I can't use milk to clean my parts. But there are new paint thinners on the market. They're called the Safer Paint Thinner. And paint thinner will clean these parts, by the way. You can use regular mineral spirits or paint thinner, but it has quite an obnoxious smell. But you get this right here, and it has 65% lower fumes. And the fumes it produces are much better than the fumes that you get from regular paint thinner or mineral spirits. So this is what I use. It's kind of weird looking. Now, after you've used it, this has got some fresh cleaner in the tank right now, but after a while it'll turn brown and black as you clean more and more parts. And later on in the video I'll show you the method I use. If you don't want to use any chemical at all, there is an option to get these parts clean if you don't have a tank and you don't even want to go out and buy safe paint thinner or mineral spirits. So with this running, I can take my part that I'm cleaning and just set it down in here. And what I'll do, I'll just let that paint thinner kind of run over the top, and then I'm going to brush it down around the part like this, and I'll let it soak for a while. You know, there's no reason to be in a hurry here. And you can see already that it's cutting the oil and grease away from this part without me even scrubbing it. So there is a good cleaning action to this paint thinner that I'm using here. Now, the process will be, I may just leave this and go and do something else for, 5 or 10 minutes, and then come back, and then using this type of brush. This is a typical solvent tank cleaning brush with a hard, stiff bristle that allows you to get down into the cracks and really get that oil and grease out of there. And eventually, in a few minutes I'll have this all clean, I'll rinse it, and then I'm just going to let it sit here and drain off so I can look at it to make sure it's clean, and if I need to, I'll come back. One of the disadvantages of using this is because it's white, it's really hard to tell when you're rinsing whether it's really clean. So that's kind of the downside, but like I say, after a while, when I use this, it's going to get dirty and turn a little black. And you can see without much effort at all, look at how clean this pump is becoming. So in the next scene, I'm going to show you the option that I use if I don't have a tank and I don't have any of this safer paint thinner handy. And that may be the case, that may be your case, and that's why I want to show you that as well. My other favorite safe cleaning solution is good old Dawn dishwashing liquid. I know there's other dishwashing liquids out there that probably work as well as Dawn, but I've been a fan of Dawn for years. And when you put this in, you need hot water. Cold water isn't going to cut the grease. But if you have a chance to heat up a pan of hot water, get a little plastic tub like this and pour the water, and then add a couple tablespoons of Dawn dishwashing liquid, and of course stir it up, and you can put the part in here and you would absolutely be amazed. Good grief, this cuts as good as solvent. Now in some cases, it's going to take a little longer, and you might want to let it sit for a little bit. You may want to add a little more soap, but the key is in the hot water. You need a good brush with good hot water. Now we've had cases like with really bad diesel fuel injectors that are caked with old veggie oil, coking inside and that thick goo. And the best way to clean those is to put them in boiling hot water with Dawn dishwashing liquid. You don't go use your wife's stove to do this. Get a little hot plate and a little old pan out in the garage, and just get the water and the soap boiling when you have parts that are really tough, really caked up, and that works really well. So I hope you enjoyed these couple little tips here. Like I say, I want you, number one, to think safety when you're cleaning these. And if you're using compressed air, not everybody has compressed air, but if you're using compressed air to blow these off after you have cleaned them, be sure and put a face shield on. I mean, even if you wear glasses like I do, you still need that face shield on. You don't want even paint thinner flying up in your eye, or even Dawn dishwashing liquid with some greasy, oily debris in it. So face mask, think no smell cleaners. And if you don't have compressed air, here's my alternative to getting your parts clean, dry, is get an inexpensive hot heat gun like this. And you can sit here and just run the heat gun to dry those parts off. And there's a light enough blow to the heat gun that, if you have any debris there, it may remove that as well. And then finally, if you really want to get the parts dry, get an old oven. Get one of these old toaster ovens. You pick one up at a garage sale for 10 bucks, put it out in your garage, and turn that toaster oven on. And after you clean your parts, just put them in the toaster oven, turn it up to 400 degrees for 10 or 15 minutes, and you're going to have nice, clean, dry parts. So when you get ready to clean those old diesel parts, those old engine parts, transmission parts, suspension parts, here's what you need to do the job right.